What's going on, everybody? Just want to show a little update. It's been a while since I even posted anything. These tanks, this is basically my fish room slash basement. Not very big. Just getting started, doing more breeding activities. Let's see, we'll start over here. This is a colony of endlers, black bar endlers. You can see got quite a few in there. Start off with about 5 or 6 of them. This is what it's going out to be. I got a pair of lemon blue eye longfin or longfin lemon blue eye plecos. They actually had their first batch of eggs. Um, I've had these guys for almost, I'd say about a year now. I got them when they were about an inch, and there's the male. There's the female. Like I said, they've had their first batch of eggs. This tank here has a bunch of blue dream shrimp. You can see a few of them swimming around. There's a bunch right here on the side. And there's also a pair of longfin lemon blue eyes in this tank, which also had their first batch of eggs a week from the first pair. This tank here, just some guppies, some tuxedo guppies that I have, and kind of a grow out slash breeding tank for some common plecos, bristlenose. There is the female right there, she's albino, and the male is hiding under there. He is just a brown bristlenose. All their fry come out brown. I haven't had one albino yet, so I'm feeling, or I'm thinking that the male has no albino gene in him. This tank here, as you can see, these are all my fry Synodontis petricolus. They're getting big. These were born on 12/6. There's a couple of the, sorry about the glare, it's not the best lighting in here, kind of hard to tell, but I got seven of them in here. I believe only 2 are at size for breeding, and that's the little breeder I use. It's homemade, little DIY I found on YouTube. The dates on the glass are basically the eggs. First batch of eggs were hatched 12/7. The second batch of eggs were hatched 12/12. But I believe they still came from the same pair. They just weren't done when I pulled the eggs the first time. And those are the babies there. They're actually doing pretty good. Probably got about 50 fry in there. As they get a little bit bigger, I'll release them into a separate tank, and they will go into this tank here. There's nothing in this 20 long. It's just housing all of the fry of the longfin lemon blue eyes, and they are all in there. It's kind of hard to see, but there's a bunch of them. Both batches are in here from both parents. Obviously the bigger ones are the ones that hatched first. Those hatched on December 25th on Christmas morning. Nice present. And these hatched, I believe these hatched, oh my gosh, yeah, on the 6th, there's the date. So the first hatch, half the eggs were kicked out of the cave and didn't survive. So I decided to pull the rest out of the cave because the father was inexperienced. Wasn't fanning them. He wasn't staying on the eggs. He would leave the cave all the time. So I decided to take them out and put them in the tumbler, and they hatched on Christmas Day. So I got 26 fry out of that. Out of the second pair, they hatched on the 6th. And the same thing, I took them out of the cave and put them in the tumbler, and I got 41 fry out of them. So total, I have a 67 fry in this little breeder box. It's hard to tell because they are hiding a lot. The ones with the egg sacs are obviously still the younger ones, or the newest ones. They're only not even a week old yet. So these are my first batch of fry from my longfin. them and Blue Eyes. I'm excited about those. So that's my little setup of my 20 longs. As you can see, I have an automatic drain system. So when I do my water changes, all I do is undo the valves and water will siphon out down into the drain, which is kind of nice. I don't have to worry about buckets or anything. Unless I'm cleaning the siphoning the tanks out to get all the detritus and other stuff that's gathering in these tanks, which I do once a week. So this tank down here is a 29 tall, and it houses my super red pair, which are breeding like crazy. As you can see, all the babies just hanging out in the tank. There's quite a few in here. I have one little pothos plant growing. This tank's doing pretty good. I'm having some little issues with it on the filter, or both filters. I just changed this one out yesterday. I basically took it off, cleaned it completely out. I was getting a lot, I don't know what it's called though. It's kind of it's hard to describe. It's like a white, I don't know if you can see the growth on there, but that white growth is real tough. It's like a leather feeling, real leathery. It's stringy. It's kind of hard to see. Don't know what it is, and I keep getting it on these two filters. Somebody was telling me it could be a protein problem. I have too much protein in the water. I don't know how to fix that. So, but I don't get it on the sponge filter. It's just on the HOBs. But there's nothing wrong with the water. Parameters are good, but I tested. And you can see I'm getting constant babies from these guys. And they're looking good. There's quite a few in the tank. That's the male. There's the female. And over here, this tank is a 40 tall. It's basically a grow out tank for my super reds. They're doing pretty good. Not much in there because I've been thinning them out. You can see they look good in there. That tank's doing good. So that's my little setup on this side. And then my other room I have over here. These are my cichlids. So I have some blue Texas cichlids, or Carpentis. This is my male, my big male. I've had him for about 1.5 years now. He's doing good. I got him when he was probably about 2 inches. I'd say he's pushing 9 inches, 10 inches maybe. I got this young little female here, which I intend on breeding with him, but I'm waiting until she gets a little bit bigger to introduce them together. They're in the same tank, but they just have no interaction because I put a barrier. But I did breed my male with this female parrot quite a few times. They kept having eggs, so I had to separate them because that guy there is one of their offsprings, and there's 5 of them in here that came from him and her. All these in here are the offsprings from those two, which people breed to make SRTs, Super Red Texas. And these are all F1s, so the colors aren't going to be the greatest because it takes a lot of work to create a nice looking Super Red Texas. I mean, lots of work. You have to constantly inbreed them, keep breeding them, crossbreeding them, bringing them back together. So it's a work in progress. But I'm not sure if I'm going to keep up with these, with this project, because I'd rather have just the straight blue Texas. Because all of these in my 120 here, these are all fried from the blue Texas and the parrot. I mean, I've had good success with this batch. This is probably the 4th batch I've had with them, You can see some good colors on them. So I will wait till these guys grow out a little bit more before I start getting rid of them or selling them. But I do want to see how a few of them turn out. I do have a couple of good looking ones in there. So if anybody can help me out, let me know. I know the process to keep doing the SRTs are pretty it's lengthy. But I'm not sure if I want to continue doing it. I would rather just have the Blue Texas or the Carpinthus breed, because you can see some colors in here, and these are from the Blue Texas and the Parrot, so there's some good colors. These guys are probably 2 inches, maybe 2.5. There's some that are still quite small. And in this tank here, I did have the female in here, but I took her out and put her in with the male because I want to start introducing them. So basically I will use this tank. Right now it has some platies. These are little babies my buddy gave me. And it has, I think there's a couple of guppies in there too that kind of got in there. But I will use this as a grow out for the plecos, for the super reds. And this little 10-gallon down here is also a little grow out. I just put a batch of super reds in here, some babies. They are very, very tiny. You can see them back there in the corner. So this little 10-gallon will be for them. I kind of want to spread them out. I don't want to keep them all in one tank. But you know, if you have a wipeout, then you lose your stock, and that's everything. But that's what that little tank is. And I just set this one up yesterday. I'm going through the cycle right now, kind of waiting. That will probably be a little quarantine tank. And that's pretty much it. That's what I got. Oh yeah, I forgot. I do have these over here. This is just a little 5.5 gallon. It's got orange. There's some orange shrimp in here. It's kind of hard to tell. It's a little overgrown right now. There's one right there. You see them. There's quite a few babies in here, but they're so tiny. They're very hard to see. I don't know if you can see any in there. And this tank here is my 20-gallon. It used to be a 20-gallon planted. I kind of let it go. There's a koi albino male right here. I lost the female. She didn't make it. She died a day after I received her. So the male's by himself. I did get the pair. Pretty expensive guppy. Probably the most I ever paid for a guppy. But hopefully, I threw some small little females in there from guppies that I had before they were impregnated with the males in the tank. So hopefully we'll see what they turn out to be. Maybe a little cross or something. But there's also some miscellaneous shrimp in here. Some cherry shrimp, natural color shrimp. Sorry if I don't know all the correct names for these. But my little DIY lights, it's working. I popped those growing out of it. So the tank's been established for a long time, almost 2 years now. The glare's pretty bad. But I use this as just like a catch-all right now. This tank did supply probably 500-600 guppies. Came out of this tank, my tuxedo guppies. Started off with a handful of them, and they just kept multiplying. And I finally got out of doing those, and that's pretty much it. Well, thank you guys. This is my fish room / basement. It's not much, but it's a start. I enjoy the hobby. I do have a couple tanks upstairs. I will probably film those later. I have my Fahaka puffer upstairs and some of my 397 plecos. I got an L114 up there. All right, that's it. Thank you.